Hey guys, my name is Maggie Garner, and today I'm going to be doing my career profile on a clinical mental health counselor or psychotherapist. I just did my interview with my cousin who just graduated with this degree, and he is currently what's called an associate clinical mental health counselor, and I'll go on to talk about that in a bit. But right now I wanted to just kind of go through the list on the worksheet of this profession and tell you about a little bit about it. As far as environment goes, for a psychotherapist, it really varies depending on where you get your job. My cousin personally works for a smaller organization. He works for the Steinman Institute in Salt Lake City, and he said that his environment is a lot more low key. It's smaller. It only consists of 8 professionals. So because of that, he has more workplace flexibility. Or um, he can make or do less hours at work. Just depends on how many sessions he wants to do a week. He liked it because they were very family friendly. They did sessions with kids 6 and up. Um, but like I said, it just depends on what you want. You can open your own private practice, or you can work for a bigger institution, for hospitals and such. As far as stressors go, he said the biggest stressor for a psychotherapist is the paperwork. He said that he really loved doing sessions with people. That's what he really enjoyed about the job. But it's hard after you do such a great session with somebody and then coming to a mountain of paperwork. He said it's really stressful, and most counselors don't like it at all. He said the other stressor is when he does couples or family therapy that excuse me, they're more likely for emotional outbursts because the level of crisis is a lot deeper, and that's why they're undertaking therapy, that they just have more problems that they need to work through. So it's harder and more stressful to regulate those sessions. Um, Typical benefits for a psychotherapist depends on, like I said, the organization that you choose to work for. He said larger venues, they will allow and give you more benefits, but usually that gives you more workplace, or less, sorry, excuse me, less workplace flexibility. The smaller organization that he works with at Steinman Institute, they actually don't have any benefits, but he said he prefers it that way because he can set his own hours. So if he wants more money, then he just needs to take on more sessions, and if he wants less money, he just needs to um, not schedule as many sessions. Um, and then also, if you open your own private practice, then you can set your own benefits depending on what you want personally for your office. As far as tasks of the job, the daily things that you do in the job, he said psychotherapy is the task to do. That's what you're there. That's your job. That's what you train to do. He said you are also there for crisis intervention and teaching emotional regulation. So those are the main tasks that psychotherapists do each day. As far as education, psychotherapist requires a master's degree, a minimum, and at least 4,000 hours of postgraduate work under a supervisor. And then you have to pass some national exams. And then you can drop the associate clinical mental health counselor and just become a clinical mental health counselor. So my cousin who just graduated hasn't passed his tests yet or completed his 4,000 hours. He's currently working on those, but once he passes those tests and gets through those hours, then he can drop the associate and just become a clinical mental health counselor. As far as salary goes, it really just depends on your experience. He said starting salary usually starts around $45,000 a year and can go up to $60,000 a year. If you have your own private practice, then you can charge anywhere from $120 to $150 an hour. So owning your own private practice can give a potential for a really high income. It just depends on what you want as far as working hours goes. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was just the random information that he gave me. He said because he works in Utah, that he talked more about Utah and their laws and what they focus on. But he said in Utah they don't really lean heavily towards psychotherapists. They lean more closely to clinical social workers. bigger, larger institutions like U of U Hospital hire social workers and not psychotherapists. So he said, for those who are interested in becoming a clinical mental health counselor, to really do your research on where you want to end up um, after you graduate, because depending on where you end up is what job you'll get. So like in Utah, he recommends not going towards psychotherapy but going towards clinical social work, because you're more likely to get a job in Utah in that field. So that's just his little piece of advice to give, that really do your research in what you want to be and to narrow down the career that you want to have, because it can really affect the job that you get later on. And if you want the job that your dream job, then you need to do your homework. Anyways, I just want to thank you for listening to my career profile, and I hope this was good information for you and that you enjoyed it. See ya.